We're going to find out if this new backhoe digs. So we've got plenty of rain and we need to get caught up on some mowing. So y'all look forward to some more flail mower and brush tiger coming up. Our goal today is to dig a trench from the power line 3 foot deep all the way out to our new electrical service, or at least where the electrical service will be at. This is the first time we've ever used the TB65 backhoe on the T25 tractor. Over towards the end of the video, I'll give you a full rundown of the backhoe, what I think, pluses and minuses to this point. You know, you got to figure out how it's going to be and the quirks of every backhoe, but I'll have to say this thing is built like a daggum beast. The backhoe subframe is way overkill for this size backhoe. They really mean for this to last. The TYM T25, which is the predecessor of the T25, had a smaller backhoe, a little bit lighter backhoe. Not to say that it was bad, but this backhoe is super impressive. I'm just going to keep bragging on it. It has dual left and right cylinders. This allows you to have a lot more power, like if you just want to push something sideways. See how I pushed the dirt over there? With a single cylinder, you just don't have that same power. Dual cylinder is very uncommon in a tractor this size. I got the opportunity last year to dig with the TYM T25 and its backhoe, and it took me a good little minute to realize that this tractor has a lot more reach, so I could drive forward further each time that I moved the tractor. It was a little learning curve. Now, I did like how that 254 was, you know, it was a stout little backhoe too, but this is in a different league. I'm going to ease out there and say this TB65 may be as strong as the T474's backhoe, maybe even a little bit stronger. The way it cuts is pretty daggum impressive. As you watch the bucket here, every time I come out of this hard clay, I'm coming out with a full bucket load. Now the backhoe on the T474 is a little bit faster. So I stopped what I was doing, and once I figured out how to read the ruler on this thing, I realized that I was about 38 inches deep and I was shooting for 36, so I was well within tolerance. Once we get this trench dug, then we're going to go ahead and lay our conduit in it and hook it up to our new meter base. Are you guys having trouble finding stuff or getting stuff? Our meter base was on back order for 2 months and we just now got it in. And I'm looking around for like conduit pieces, and I'm having to go to different places to come up with everything I need just for, you know, digging this this trench and putting this electric line in. Y'all bear with me just a second. I'm going to let you listen to the engine run and just what the sounds the backhoe makes. This will also be real time. Hey, tell me what you thought about that in the comment section below. There's no denying it, this backhoe's pulling out dirt. So let's talk about the backhoe some. I told you I was going to give you what I thought about it after it was done. First off, I'll preface it by saying that I have used a lot of tractor backhoes. John Deere, Massey Ferguson, LS Tractor, Coyote. I have tried a lot of tractor backhoes and done a lot of digging with tractor backhoes. I'm not trying to say that I know everything about all of the tractor backhoes, but I am trying to say that I do have a good working knowledge and can give you some good comparisons. Let's start with a bucket. It comes standard with a 12-inch bucket. You can get a 14, a 16, and I believe a 9-inch bucket for this tractor. And obviously the thinner the bucket is, the more digging force it'll have at the cutting edge. But I find that this 12 is a pretty perfect fit for where we live. I also want to point out the cast iron hingings of this BY65 backhoe. As you can see here, these are heavy made cast iron pieces. They are not the little thin sheet metal or thin metal pieces. Some manufacturers don't put that amount of strength into a backhoe this small. As we work our way back up the backhoe, you can see that uses good heavy duty cylinders. There's nothing really special about these. These are the kind of cylinders, if at some point they do go out and it's out of warranty, you can carry it to any hydraulic shop and have the cylinder rebuilt. So there's nothing special about these. They're just a good solid cylinder. Every hinge point on this backhoe is greasable, and they use a really high quality pin. Greasing your backhoe is the life of your backhoe, so make sure before you use it, grease it. I use an extreme pressure grease like Lucas Red Tacky. There's several others I've used now. This backhoe does have a thumb mount if you want to go that way. Where the difference is in this backhoe and the TYM T25 backhoe is that they have really beefed up the hinge points of the BY65 backhoe. It looks to me like they are using the same mounting point, the subframe mount, pretty much on the T25 all the way up to the T474. So this thing is absolutely overkill for this size tractor. That oversized hinge means longevity. I guess next we can talk about the valves. TYM uses a good valve on this system. Everything is smooth. I didn't feel anything that just went wonky when I think that's a word. Wonky, is that a technical term? Possibly. But anyway, it all just worked. It was very smooth throughout the whole process. So I did have my rear tires loaded on this T25, and with the extra weight of the backhoe and the loaded tires, I find that this tractor is very stable. As with any rear mounted backhoe, sometimes you got to be creative to get into the spot that you need. So what you do is hang here with me, and I'm going to show you how you merge two trenches coming from different directions, but you can only do it with a backhoe if it's big enough. You back up your right or left tire to the very edge of the trench. Then if your backhoe is big enough, like the TB65, you can back over and put one of your outriggers on the other side of the trench. Well, then you have the ability to turn to your right in this case and dig the remaining part of this trench out and meet them together. If you'll watch here, you can see the reach that this thing has, and it's something you can't do when you start getting into the subcompacts, because even your subcompacts will dig a 12-inch wide trench, and your outriggers are probably not going to be wide enough to reach the other side. So the new T25 comes with a Yanmar engine and a single hydraulic pump, where the T264 had a dual hydraulic pump. And the way they've got it set up to this point, I cannot tell any discernible difference. Now granted, the T25's hydraulic pump is ginormous. It's almost exactly the same flow rate as the dual setup. If you started out on a T25, you wouldn't tell any difference at all. I don't really tell a difference. It's just a different sound, I think, is the only thing I really noticed. Stay tuned here, and I'm going to show you a little time lapse of the whole entire project. I always find those fun.